where we're taking a closer look at the story behind the sensation. What do you do for work? How much money you make a year? One TikToker is asking complete strangers across the country those very questions, causing Hannah Williams from Salary Transparent Street to go viral. Hannah is shattering societal norms by discussing pay, wages, and shining light on pay inequality. Take a look.
How much do you make? I make around $23 an hour.
Do you feel fairly compensated for this area?
Now I do, but before I didn't because I was doing like 3 people's jobs and I'm a temp, so I don't ever get a raise.
Interestingly, she gets answers to those questions. Hannah Williams joins us now. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So nearly a year ago, you were a data analyst. Now you're traveling across the country. Tell us how this series started.
It started from being underpaid. I call it like my series of unfortunate events. I basically found out after one of my colleagues was fired on my team and my workload like doubled overnight, and I just got really overwhelmed, burnt out, was overworked, and I started wondering if I was maybe not fairly paid. And I started like Googling it, and I found out I was underpaid about $20,000 to $25,000, and a lot of that was due to secrecy because I didn't know what the salary was when I accepted the job, like what the budget was. I didn't know that I could negotiate my salary. I didn't know to do market research. These were all things that I felt were a lot of responsibility put on employees that was causing people to be underpaid. And so I decided to just start asking people on the street and hoping to change things.
What's the most surprising thing that you've learned so far?
How much people are underpaid in the most important roles in our society, like teachers, social workers, people who make our cities work, like metro workers and such. They're some of the lowest paid people I've interviewed, and they bring the most value to our society.
100% agree with you. The teachers are way underpaid in this country. Of course, different states across the country have enacted pay transparency laws that require employers to include salary ranges in job postings. You testified in Washington, D.C. in support of the Pay Range Act, but the salary ranges in some cases are so broad, some might even consider it to be pointless. What do you make of that argument?
No, it's a totally valid argument. I think that we should really be calling out corporations and companies that aren't abiding by laws that are meant to keep people fairly paid. We really need to start putting the responsibility on companies to be transparent and to abide by these laws. Good faith salary ranges should be good faith. They shouldn't have more than about $50,000 between the minimum and the max. Anything that goes beyond that is really not being transparent, and it's skirting the rules, and we need to call it out.
Throughout your conversations, is there anything that you'd say that you've learned, any helpful tips or takeaways as far as how to negotiate a higher salary or perhaps get a promotion?
Definitely. The number one tip is do it. Don't ever not ask for more, and always come prepared to a discussion about salary. Make sure that you do your market research beforehand and know what to ask for. Then do the ask, and once you do, it will always benefit you. There's no harm asking. The worst they can say is no, and if you don't ask, there's a potential you could be taken advantage of. So always make the ask, come prepared, do your research.
So I'm going to be just as forward with you. I'm not going to ask you your salary, but ultimately, when you realized that the other person had left and you started taking on that workload, did you get more money?
I did not. I did all my research. I put together a letter and I asked my manager for a raise. They ran me around in circles, you know, like, oh, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. About 3 months later, they said that they couldn't give me a raise. And at that point, they also let me know that I wasn't eligible for a raise until I'd been with the company for a year. And even at that point, they didn't give out salary raises of more than 3 to 5% at any one time. So not only was I underpaid, but because of secrecy at the beginning of me starting my job, I had cut myself out of a lot of money that wasn't going to change for several years. And so I started looking for another job. And sure enough, I got a raise for $115,000. So I definitely proved that I was underpaid because I got a $25,000 raise right away.
That is
and I accepted
great.
that offer. Yeah.
All right. So what's next for you? Any plans to take the series abroad?
Definitely. We have international goals right now. We want to keep things national and make sure that we hit all 50 states by the end of this year. So we really want to expand our reach to not just like coastal cities and big cities. We want to show rural areas, the whole American landscape. We want to show what American salaries look like, and then hopefully we'll take our series overseas because it's not just a national problem, it is international.
I can imagine it is. Hannah, a really interesting work that you're doing. Thanks so much for joining us. You can follow Hannah Williams on TikTok at Salary Transparent Street. Thanks so much, Hannah.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.